Even with the intervention of the Vatican and the Pope and with Donald Trump being very vocal about it in the States, you don't see this changing in any way. They won't at some point say, look, can Charlie's parents appeal the decision or say, we just need you to show some discretion here and let us...
I think it would be very, very difficult. It's not legally impossible, because what the court has said is that it would be lawful for the hospital to withdraw the feeding, the breathing tube that's keeping the ventilator that's keeping Charlie alive. They haven't ordered the hospital to do that, and the hospital is being careful and trying to reach agreement with the parents. So there's no particular legal problem in doing that, but of course they have said to the court that the distress that might be caused to this little child by being taken off to the US might cause him pain, and that's why they went to the court in the first place.
Chuck, just coming back to you as a parent who's been through this agony, part of this case is about whether it's possible to tell if your child is in pain or distress. And this, you know, the court judgment and the opinion of the doctors is that it is not in this child's best interest to be transferred to receive this treatment, that he might be in some sort of pain or distress. I mean, that's a heartbreaking thing as a parent to try and work out, isn't it?
It is. It is very difficult and very emotional. But I think what we have here is the love that these parents have for this child should certainly supersede the law that's preventing them from being able to seek that one glimmer of hope for their child. And I think that, you know, the President of the United States and Pope Francis, representing 1.2 billion Catholics around the world, are in support of this child being given to the parents so that the parents can indeed exercise their God-given right to be able to seek medical attention for Charlie.
I suppose what's so difficult about this is that the parents obviously want to do everything they can, everything possible to keep baby Charlie alive. But I suppose there's an independent decision being made separately from that instinct of the parents that actually that simply might not be good for him. And it's sort of that tension between that you just want your child to survive, come what may, but actually is the result that he goes through extra suffering, which the parents would be absolutely heartbroken to imagine, but perhaps their love, you know, I suppose that's why it's contracted out to a court and to doctors, because does your love cloud your judgment?
I think we have to really rely on the parents' desire and the parents' wishes to raise that child to the potential that child has, that exists. How do you define life? Do you define it at different categories? Those parents see a glimmer of hope, and I think we should do everything we can to exercise their right as a mother and a father of this child to seek that glimmer of hope and provide that gap, to fill that gap that right now is causing them so much stress and so much strain. I am not a doctor, and I don't know that anybody can identify the level of pain that Charlie is in or may be in. But we do know that this is the only hope that that baby has for a remission or some type of positive treatment for this disease. Mitochondrial disease is a multisystemic disease. Any and every organ in the body is in need of energy, and therefore mitochondrial disease at any given time, depending on the tissues that are affected, can have organ failure. We don't know what levels of pain are caused by that particular level of failure, but we do know that it's a very mysterious disease to diagnose, and once we do have a diagnosis, there are very limited treatments. This is a treatment that exists, and it exists now as close as Rome for this child to be transported and for the parents to really provide that glimmer of hope.
Joshua, this came up in Prime Minister's questions yesterday, and the Prime Minister commented on it. Let's have a listen.
Any parent in these circumstances will want to do everything possible to and explore every option for their seriously ill child. But I also know that no doctor ever wants to be placed in the terrible position where they have to make such heartbreaking decisions. The Honourable Lady referred to the fact that we have that court process here. I'm confident that Great Ormond Street Hospital have and always will consider any offers or new information that has come forward with consideration of the well-being of a desperately ill child.
Offers or new information, the Prime Minister suggests, potentially could change the situation?
Could change, but who knows best what is in the best interests of this child? It is the doctors who are treating him. They're treating him at the moment. Charlie Gard's parents are wonderful people, but some parents don't act in the best interest of children, some parents abuse their children, some parents refuse children life-saving blood transfusions. That's when the courts have to intervene and say, you're not the people to decide, we have to decide. A child is an independent person and the courts must decide what's in that child's best interests.
All right, John.